Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Once again, trying to get hyped in the morning. Friday, March 24th, 2023. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. Check 1 2. This thing on.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2.
Check.
Yeah, he's super low. What's going on this Friday, March 24th already? Getting ready to be April. Shout out to the 630 crew. Radio listeners.
Check. Is this thing on now?
What up? Give me a check.
1 2. 1 2 1 2.
Oh, they rolling in. Hey. Good morning. Hey, First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. All right, buddy to God, Paul B. It's going down. All you chat chimers, ghost listeners, what's going on? Everybody rolling in early this morning. What's going on, Pops? Says good morning, First Skyers. You are all adored. Love it. Love from Las Vegas. Appreciate that. Kimra Snipes says a good morning, y'all. She's up bright and early. Also, Leah Keister in the house says happy Friday, yippee yay. She has some more yays on that. Amy Huffless gives us a good morning. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate everybody getting up this morning and greeting everybody so graciously. It's a nice theme. Welcome to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Just trying to get our tech right as usual. And hey, it is what it is. And so we're here. We're gonna keep on trying to be here as much as we can. And we appreciate all of you that are here on a regular basis as well. I just did an interview yesterday with this show called Sins of the City, and it was a great interview, and it was good to be able to say we speak to people on a regular basis, and this is what they think and say, and so on and so forth. So it was really great that they wanted to reach out to talk to somebody who talks to the people, and that's what, and we're really proud to be able to have these conversations so that we can do that. So once again, show can't happen without y'all. So I really appreciate everybody coming on through. Appreciate it very, very much. So thanks for everybody who is joining us on this Friday, March 24th. Buddy, how you feeling over there? You good?
Man, I'm all right. How am I sounding? That's the question.
You're pretty good. You're still a little low, but it's better than it was a minute ago. So
can y'all hear me?
Yes, but buddy, up loud enough for you guys this morning. Let us know.
As long as the folks can hear me, that's all that matters. Because we here to engage. Definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm all right, man. A little tired. Definitely, had that job we talked about yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It went well. Was doing some live streaming for basically a mega church conference. Are you familiar with Dr. Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant?
I am not. No.
The name. Yeah, you kind of hear it in my voice, camera. The name, like, I think I'm trying to put my finger on. If anybody, okay. Amy says a little quiet, but you can hear me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll work on that. But if anybody is familiar, please. I was trying to put my finger on where I heard this name from, but Pastor Jamal Bryant did some live streaming for a service that he had yesterday. So it was pretty interesting. Black mega churches down here in Atlanta. It's a thing.
Big business.
Oh yeah. that part. But yeah, not gonna go there. But other than that, man, I'm all right. What's today? Friday? Yeah. Trying to get my bearings, to be honest.
Also, Ramadan. We was talking about that
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. Hopefully, I don't mind, but I'm trying to scarf this down before the sun gets completely up. Yeah. Ramadan it started yesterday actually, so I think that might have something to do about it. I did a job and couldn't eat. So yeah, that might have something to do with it. Now I
Yeah,
think about
man. You got to schedule them jobs. But I ain't doing no job on a day I can't eat. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
hey man, hey, but the kids got to eat. That's the part.
You do have that dilemma where I do not.
I wouldn't call it a dilemma, but it is what it is.
I would call it a dilemma. That's just me. I'm having enough
Oh, that's
trouble
Uncle
keeping.
Paul talking. You can
That's
send
right.
him home. You can send him home.
Yeah, you come over eat on the weekend and then go home. Pops, I can't post that interview until they air it, so I'll definitely hit you up on that. Mama God gives us a good morning, First Sky fam. She says she can hear you, but definitely a little low. So I don't know where your gain is on that, where you can pump that up a little bit. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody that's joining in and giving us a good morning this morning. Yeah, lots going. It seems like lots going on yesterday and today,
Yeah.
big time drama in the unicameral. Big stuff going down. We'll definitely talk about it. We are expecting our special guests to come in this morning. Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names, and talk a little bit about this because what I'm hearing is a little concerning. They're first of all, everybody's kind of up in arms about what just happened with the filibuster. They got their 33 votes, and so they ended that, and now they're trying to move that bill about trans rights and stuff. They're trying to move that forward. They're moving it forward now. So yeah, there's a lot to that story that we need to talk about a little bit, and also there's some threats of some more filibustering happening, which might end up like the whole session gets covered, and no other bills get talked about. We've been talking about 1024 for a minute. We've been talking. There's a lot of work this year on setting up, trying to get funds into North and South Omaha. We're gonna have to wait till next session to even deal with that.
531.
Yeah, man. So there's a lot. There's a lot. Pop says, I think this is Amy's born day, right? Is this your born day today,
Is it?
Amy? What's going on? You over
Also,
there
sound
quiet?
check. How am I sounding now?
Still low. I don't know what's going on.
Really?
Didn't really make that big of a difference right there. Yeah, you're still about the same level you were. So yeah, we got to be able to get up and test these things out, man, and get the tech, get it going. I know it's rough in the morning, but we this is definitely something that seems to change on a daily basis. That's what I'm confused about.
But the thing is, I don't do much changing.
I
That's
don't do any changing. I'm still in here to have to tweak a bunch of stuff all the time, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But we'll figure it out. As long as they can hear us, then we'll get going on it.
You can see us, right?
Huh?
That's it. Can they see us, right?
Yeah. Oh, you're a little louder. You're a little louder now, so that sounds good. You're a little,
Okay,
little better.
okay.
Pop says Buddy's a little lower than before.
See, you say I'm louder. He say I'm lower. I can hear myself just fine.
So yeah, I'm in the room with myself. I can hear myself just fine. Kimber Snipes says the Republicans are definitely going to get rid of the filibuster in the future now. They didn't like what Kavanaugh did, huh?
It did seem personal.
Well, yeah. And I don't know if you saw Megan Hutt's testimony. She got up and was very personal about the situation because she has a transgender son. So there was a lot, man. There was a lot. It was kind of high drama, and the reports are saying that they were kind of bickering back and forth and calling each other out, and a lot of stuff happened yesterday. I'm anxious to hear from any of the chat chimers that got a chance to watch it or was there. So we should check it out. She says, can't say definitely, but there's an assumption for sure. Yeah. I mean, they didn't want it. I remember them fighting the filibuster before. So I'm sure that they really don't like it after this last 3 weeks. So we'll see. Blackity Black in the house says, good morning. I can hear Buddy fine.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee time.
Coffee.
Look,
I didn't
never think I was going to be this dude right here that had this hand wrapped around a cup all morning long, but it is what it is.
Mazel tov.
Yeah. Let us know how your last few days went. Is it weird? Is it been a full moon here or something? I don't know what's going on, but it seems really wild.
New moon.
Is that what it is?
So actually, Ramadan lines up with the start of a new moon, and it follows a full lunar cycle. So yeah, it was yesterday was a new moon, and maybe that's why it's getting a little wonky out here. But
It
yeah,
does feel wild. It feels wild. It
hey,
feels,
hey, man, if you believe in those kinds of things, but we call it the Great American Drama as far as the legislature for a
true.
reason. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
But
Um,
go ahead.
well, I was gonna switch gears, but if you have something else to
No,
say
go ahead.
on the matter, well, actually, was gonna ask and kind of put the call out there, going off our conversation yesterday, dealing with your interview and the Nico Jenkins story and what kind of the nature of the interview was. If anybody had any, information or perspective, on that, or was close to, maybe any of the victims or the
Well,
family.
I think that if we're going to talk about that, then we should go ahead and just and lay out what exactly this is about. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's a show on the TV1 network called Sins of the City. They are trying to cover the Nico Jenkins case, and so they've been talking to a few people around town. Somehow they threw First Guy's name out there, got in contact with me, and I kind of spent a few hours on the phone, a couple days, a couple phone calls of a couple 2 hour sessions, just kind of making sure this ain't gonna be no thing that's like just gonna be a sensational, make a sensation out of
Sensationalized.
Nico and all this stuff. And I told him for the 2 days I was there, I was like, I was around here, but I wasn't covering that case or anything like that. I ain't got really much to say about the case. And they said, well, what they really wanted to know was what this show is about is the sins of the city actually is the system and the situation that would produce a Nico Jenkins type of situation. So they're going to talk about the crime, and then they're going to talk about the situations in our city that maybe failed him. The help that he didn't get when he was a kid, and so on and so forth. The way the systems and the prison system works, and so on and so forth. So they want to talk about that crime, and then they want to talk about how the city is, and if anything's changed, if the people who are that we're talking to now feel like anything's changed. In the interview yesterday, I said a lot about the fact that we don't on this show. When's the last time we talked about Nico Jenkins? It's been a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We are our conversations lie past the crimes and the things that happen. Our conversations lie in what are the systems that failed him, and what are we doing about it, and how can we get into the legislature and stuff now to be able to fight and get help for the areas of town that have high poverty, which is where crime comes from. What can we do about the mental situation, the mental health situation in our city? He obviously had mental issues, and he fell through the cracks somewhere about getting some help. And all the situations that were prevalent back then, that's also still prevalent now. We're definitely in the solutions conversation now. And it's only really, I only hear his name when I hear some politicians and law enforcement people that are talking about all the extra helicopters and stuff that we need around here. All this help, we need all this militarized police, and we need extra prisons, and we need all these things, because heaven forbid there's another Nico Jenkins running around. As if the black community built Nico Jenkins. Like, that's kind of the system is the reason why some things went down like they went down, and nobody's condoning his acts. But part of the story is the troubled life he had, and some of the ways that the system let him down. The jail, the prison system, the mental health, the health system, all kinds of things. So I spent a lot of time with them trying to make sure that this wasn't another sensationalized story about the evils of Omaha and what happened here in this big villain, but about the system. So we talked a lot about that, and I hope they cut that right. I hope they cut it in that way. They talked to Preston Love. They talked to a whole bunch of people in town to try to get the overall story about how something like that could happen, what kind of place this is. They wanted to know about whether or not I thought this was one of the most segregated places in America, those kinds of questions. So we'll see.
Man, and yeah, those are the things that I heard as well. And I see you kind of peeking at the chat. I'm right there along with Amy as you see the show on the screen. I'm right there along with Amy, and I'm glad you kind of, even not being from Omaha. I mean, that's why we love you, Paul. Man, like, even though you're not from Omaha, you are Omaha. You know what I mean? And the fact that you cared enough about the community, and how the community looked on national TV, to even say that. But that also speaks to why we do First Sky Omaha.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Because as Amy is saying, the way the media that was there, again, we didn't cover that story. We wasn't working, we weren't in town at that time per se.
Yeah.
But the way that the media that was there they drugged that family. I do remember seeing that whole Jenkins family spread, and they made them look like a crime syndicate, basically.
Wow.
I know there's mention about a familial history of mental health, and the kind of the role that played in it, but the overall essence of the article and the spread was like a syndicate crime family. Like they
Wow.
laid it out. Yeah, they laid it out. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I missed all that. No.
Yeah, man, they laid it out. But that is the story, that, like you said, as far as just the history of him falling through the cracks. And that's why this whole St. Francis ministry situation was so egregious,
Mm.
because the Nico Jenkins is an extreme. It's a case. It's an extreme case, but it's still a case of what can happen when children who need help fall through the cracks.
There you go. And this is the case of what two brothers are trying to do with a live stream show to deal with issues and talk about it, and gather people together to talk about things. We'll get it fired up right now. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, all of you chat chimers, ghost listeners, here we go. What up, what up, what up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, chat chimers, ghost listeners, radio listeners as well. Thanks to the 630 crew. Got up and checked out the mix. Let me know how the mix was. And let us know what's going on with you in your lives as well. And of course, this is a discussion show. So whatever's on your hearts and minds, please share in the chat. Remember that we use the chat to talk to each other as if we were talking to each other face to face. And having some quality conversation that will help us see each other's viewpoints and respect each other's viewpoints, and possibly come to some agreements about some things, even if we don't always agree on everything. But it's all about the conversation. Conversation rules the nation.
Yes.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Season 5.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going down right now. So thank you for joining us, and Buddy, thank you for coming on. Especially during Ramadan. I know that you are tired and working around trying to eat at certain times, and so on and so forth. And and you take that time to clear your mind and all the things that Ramadan is for. Right, so we appreciate you still jumping into some of these issues, because I know when I get to the point where I'm taking a mental break, or I'm taking some kind of information diet, I definitely don't want to be talking about the issues. I want to kind of clear my mind about some things, but we also feel like this is a pretty important conversation that we're having. So I appreciate you taking that time out of your special time to continue with us right now.
Quick comment to that, man. One part of Ramadan, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Just kind of, that people might not be familiar with Ramadan. I mean, I wasn't raised Muslim. This is something that I chose for my life and my family's life. But a part of Ramadan, is doing good acts, and not necessarily, I mean, charity, but just giving back, and doing charitable acts for the community and for others. And I'd consider this a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are people who donate, and we do, make money from this, to a certain extent. But we've also done this for free. You know what I mean? Let's be honest. So,
we still are kind of.
yeah, yeah, but definitely, that's what this is about. So I would definitely do this regardless. I actually really enjoy doing this. This is, I appreciate y'all and the opportunity that this affords me. So
right on, appreciate you, man. Kimber Snipes in the chat says maybe that's what I should give up for Lent next year: information intake. You definitely need to go on an information diet. I know that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
would really, really help your stress levels out. It helps mine. We talk about this stuff 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. We think about it. We prepare an hour before the show to talk about things, and then there's all the phone calls and stuff all in between the weeks. So this is these things are constantly on our brain, and I definitely have to do a lot of work to try to get it off my mind for at least 1 or 2 days.
Yeah.
That's why I make family days such a huge thing for me. Sunday, I get up in the morning and purposely say, turn the phone off, turn the information off. Don't want to talk to nobody. Don't want to, unless they're family or close friends. And if we're talking about art and life and food and stuff like that, and that's it. I'm very purposeful when it comes to my Sundays, just so I can have some break.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I always encourage that to people. I didn't really know how bad I needed that until I really started doing that.
No,
But
it's imperative,
you're,
man. Hey, man.
human beings are problem solvers. And so our minds are just going to keep on turning over trying to solve these problems that we bring up all the time, unless we like really purposely decide that we're going to put that to the side for now.
Mm.
And so to me, it's like everybody's trying to figure out how to put it to the side. What some people go to the gym, some people uh, have some wine, some, you know what I'm saying? Like we all have all these tactics and ways that we do that. So we're all trying to work on it. She says, mental note, quit texting Paul on Sundays with city gossip. You can text me all you want to, the phone off. Catch it on
He
Monday
ain't
morning.
getting it. He ain't getting it. But also stop calling my man at 3 o'clock in the morning, man. Y'all gotta stop that. Y'all gotta stop that.
Hey, I don't try to stop anybody from enthusiastically, if they fired up about a thing, stay
3 o'clock
fired,
in the
bro. I ain't
morning.
trying to squelch your fire. I just answer you tomorrow morning. That's all. Uh, Von Chapman in the chat. He's over on Facebook. I appreciate that. He says, "Good morning. Good morning to you." He says, "Nico Jenkins was not an anomaly. Nico Jenkins as a result of the continued community neglect, and as evidenced by the disappointing and disproportionate numbers of young black and brown men in both the Juvenile Justice Center and Nebraska prisons." Yes, these are the things that we talked about yesterday on the interview for sure. It was a lot of times. I remember talking to some white folks one time that tried to be like, well, it's there's so much there's so much trouble in the black community that there's no telling, there might be another Nico Jenkins walking around, and what are you guys doing about it? And I was like, what are you guys doing about it? Nico Jenkins is like our system built that situation. You think that that's what we're out here breeding is people who go murder? Because a lot of times I feel like that's what certain sides of town thinks we over here doing, raising killing.
Man, that sounds like super predator talk to me. That sounds
Exactly.
like super predator talk. And
Exactly.
build the wall talk, because they're all rapists. And that goes. I don't want to skip Marianne Williams' comment, man. That goes right to what she says.
I missed it. What'd she say?
Right before Von Chapman, it says
Mm.
black and brown people seem to have to answer for everyone in their community, everyone in their community, in a way people do not.
Yeah. And what kills me is those people that you're talking about that do not are the ones that have caused the conditions for certain things to be that in the first place. Let's drop that James Baldwin on them, like we don't. There ain't no racial. You have made up race. You are the ones that are living by this whole situation. You're the one who has invented the N word. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
Mm-hmm.
the ones who made that. What does it say about you and your society that you have to have that? You got to call me that. That you have to have the. What does it mean for you? Not what does it mean for us? We can say no, we're not that. Period. And that's not how we are raising ourselves, and so on and so forth. So what's going on with you that you need that? Why do you need a super predator? Why do you need to make to a boogeyman and a monster? Why do you need that? It seems to me that when you want to go raise some funds to militarize the police and buy a third helicopter and everything else, all of a sudden we're talking about these super predators walking around that we need to get protected from. So you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
mean, if this is how we're gonna start the show, man. I mean, it go because you making, man. Rest in peace to the late great Dr. Frances Cress Welsing and
mhm,
her ISIS papers. Have you read the ISIS papers? Are
I
you
have not
familiar with the ISIS
familiar
papers?
with them yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, in just the idea or the concept behind the ISIS papers, and kind of a part of what Dr. Frances Cress Welsing was putting down, was the fact that the European whenever they were amalgamated and lost, because everybody knows civilization started in Africa. At some point, something happened in humanity, and there was an amalgamation, and the phenotype changed. Melanin was lost, bone structure changed, noses thin, things changed. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's theory is that when that group started to acclimate itself to the world and traveled around the world, they saw that the whole world was melanated. Everybody did not look like them. The whole world was melanated. Polynesia, Asia, Pacific Islands, Australia, no matter where you went, everybody was dark. So it became a us versus them mentality. Because as a group, they look different than everybody.
Interesting.
At least that's again the general thing behind Dr. Francis Cress Welsing and the ISIS papers.
Kimber Snipes says she also talked about melanin envy, which I think is really interesting.
See, I ain't want to go there, but
I'm gonna jump back into the chat real quick. Ariel's 402 says Deuce Revolver was my problem. Had a deaf girl, didn't really want to involve her in a life of a gangster. Ice-T, the man Ice-T. That's what's up. It's funny, man. I was around when Ice-T was doing his thing and heard a lot of his music, but still, the older I get, the more and the more they kind of retrospect on his life and lyrics and what he did for music. I still learn more and more all the time. This was killing me is that I thought I was, there's so much just to learn. It's 50 years of hip hop. And even though I've been right along with hip hop this whole time, there's still a whole lot to learn about the stuff that's behind it. And it's really interesting stuff. Really interesting. It makes sense now to me why hip hop is as huge as it is. Love that.
Long live hip hop, man. Long live hip hop.
For real. Kimber Snipes says same thing with white supremacy in the workplace. Black and brown people consistently have to fight these systems that we had no part in creating, and furthermore that were created created against us on purpose. Yeah. She says I talk about my authentic allyship workshop as well. I talk about that in my authentic allyship workshop. That's a tough one to say together as well. Appreciate that very much. Amy Huffley says that family prominent native roots as well, generational trauma, colonization, interruption, separation, etc. Talking about the Jenkins family.
That's true. That's true.
Also, Kimber says. Also, Amy says, "Oh, okay. They're talking to each other. That's what's up. Appreciate that very much." Kimber said, I'm just telling what's in the book. Maybe I should stop before they try to burn all those up too. But yeah, they ain't read them books long. They haven't read enough pages in them books to get to the reason why they want to ban them yet. Interesting stuff, man. Always, of course. It's It's coming up on 7:30 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and we really haven't even jumped into some of the things that we're going to talk about today. We did talk a little bit about what was going on in the unicameral yesterday. And can't wait till the senators come on so we can ask them about, really, I'm concerned about the rest of the session. Now, I'm trying to see what's going on here. So we'll definitely be talking about that. Buddy, what are some of the other things that we wanted to jump into today?
I will definitely, of course, talk about the Senate. Also, we're going to jump into the TikTok situation. There's some things going on, some interesting behind the scenes happenings, if you will. I don't know if anyone has caught wind, but the United States is planning to ban TikTok. So we're going to look at what's going on with that and what that could mean for us, because there could be some trickle-down effect. We'll dive into it. Also, speaking of banning, Nebraska is banning gender-altering health care for trans youth, of course, and not just the bills, but the drama surrounding that whole situation. And again, some more backlash on us. Man, there's a lot going on that we should be thinking about. That's not kind of on the surface of the situation. So we'll definitely dive into those things. Also, we did not get into a few stories on Wednesday. So I personally would definitely love to talk to the senators if they can come on about some of the police happenings. Again, we mentioned the mayor's address and her call for more police, but we didn't really get into the conversation, if you will. And again, the senators are very heavy in the Senate on criminal reform, a topic that they see a lot of senators aren't really willing to touch. So definitely would love to speak to these two specifically about these issues. And then also there's some drama going on with the sheriff. I sort of mentioned this on Wednesday, another story we did not get to get into. But Douglas County Sheriff Aaron Hansen is urging that there might be some hiccups or at least delays, as he's calling for the new youth detention center, the child jail, kitty jail, as we're calling it in downtown, and the transfer from there or from DCYC to there. So I will definitely talk about that and more. As always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds, let us know. Feel free to chime into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard.
Yep. Like I said, appreciate everybody being here, and I love that too, that we put it out there. Give us some of the tips and the things that you are thinking about, what's on top of your mind as well, so we can dig into that. And I want to also take the opportunity to thank everybody who keeps on putting things into Friends of First Sky Omaha. I think what's going on there is really interesting too. Whenever I dig in and find out the conversations that people are having and what people want to talk about, I think it's really interesting. So really appreciate everybody that's doing that. That TikTok thing is something that is standing out of my mind. A friend of mine, older black man who is not into social media stuff too tough, got wind that they were going to ban TikTok, and he was like, "That's too bad. I kind of like TikTok," and I thought that was really interesting. And it was just after I found out that I read an article about how Mark Zuckerberg might be behind paying some of these powers that be to ban TikTok. And I was thinking, what a conflict of interest that would be if that is actually going on. So I said that to him. He got all fired up about it, and I was like, wow. As we dig in a little further, we find out that this particular bill that they're trying to do to ban TikTok, they're trying to make it out to be a situation where they go, anything that could potentially hurt America, we should be able to ban. And so the bill they're trying to pass is kind of opening them up to being able to kill anything they don't like. Could be our show at some point. And then even further is just like, to me now, we're just calling out the corruption in general. All these politicians that are speaking out against TikTok and trying to pass this ban on TikTok, a lot of them have vested interest in Meta and Facebook and all these other they're investing in it. So now we got to talk about the conflict of interest of politicians that have stock in Facebook and all these other places, sitting up here trying to ban TikTok, trying to act like it's a deal. And so the leader of TikTok, the president of TikTok had to come here and testify yesterday, and all reports say it didn't go well for him. So, nope. So I definitely, I want to jump in there. David Carney in the house. Good morning over here on YouTube. Says the TikTok ban is just about shutting down young people with open minds. Meta, Twitter, everyone, even me, collects information about app users. I think they're trying to frame this. You're trying to frame it like China is an enemy of ours or something like that, and so they're using it to spy on us, and they're using it for all these nefarious reasons. And really, like I haven't seen anybody yet really talk about what the threat is that didn't have some kind of vested interest. That's the thing that I'm thinking about. Did we pull any articles on this subject?
Well, I was going to ask you about we did pull an article on the subject, but I was going to ask you about that video that you were playing earlier.
I was definitely going to play the video, but I kind of wanted to set up what the bill was. What the thing was first, if we had anything.
Because I just think it would be very, very meta, pun intended, very meta, and maybe a conflict of interest. And I wonder if they would ban us if we played a TikTok video on Facebook about how Facebook is trying to ban TikTok.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be pretty interesting. But yes, let's set it up. Again, the Senate and White House. This is all the way at the top, y'all. The Senate and White House push for a new bipartisan bill that could ban TikTok. Again, a bipartisan group of 12 senators introduced a bill on Tuesday that would give the federal government new powers to restrict and potentially ban technologies emanating from China and 5 other nations deemed to be U.S. adversaries. And while the Restrict Act is what is being called, isn't technically aimed just at TikTok, the Chinese-owned video app is clearly top of mind for the bill's chief sponsors, Senator Mark Warner for Virginia and John Thune from South Dakota. According to Thune, it says it's safe to assume that if the Chinese Communist Party is willing to lie about its spy balloon, remember the infamous spy balloon over the East Coast, and cover up the origins of the worst pandemic in 100 years. Again, it has been speculated that the coronavirus pandemic started in China. Chemical warfare, maybe that's being applied. They'll lie about using TikTok to spy on American citizens. Thune told reporters that at a Tuesday press conference attended by Warner and 6 other senators, it's not the first bill, of course. The conversation of TikTok being banned has been a conversation that has been ongoing for quite some time. Again, TikTok is owned by Chinese-based company ByteDance. However, it is almost certainly the most momentum that this conversation has had, again, on the heels of the Senate hearing of the CEO of TikTok, which, again, did not go well by all reports. And it is also the Senate's first bipartisan effort on TikTok this legislative cycle. So, again, there is a lot of... that's just the surface of the situation. But again, the Restrict Act, which the bill is called, is similar to legislation that has advanced last week on the House Foreign Affairs Committee without even Democratic support. So the fact that this is a bipartisan bill is very interesting.
It's very interesting that the name of that company is ByteDance, because all they do is bite the dances of black folks that are on there. But anyway, Marianne Williams put a video in Friends for Sky Omaha. I appreciate that very much. First of all, Sean McCarthy says this sort of smacks of the Patriot Act right after 9/11 for sure. Also, Amy Huffley says, and that is all legal. They can be backed by big pharma, invest in big pharma, get elected, and make and change laws about big pharma to pad their pockets. Yeah, this is just another example of the way that they've been doing that, and it's all legal. Marianne Williams says, yes, that bill is about way more than TikTok. They're using TikTok because they can create fear around being China-owned. Easier to pass the bill that way. She also says Facebook had their hands slapped a few years ago after being busted for selling out info to China. China doesn't need TikTok. They can buy data from Zuck.
Again, how meta is this getting?
Whoa. Okay, now you got to turn down. You fixed something, so now you're blasting us.
How about now? You still blasting?
You got to turn way down on your mixer now. Yeah.
How about now? Is it too low?
It's still too high. You got to come down a little bit. Yeah, sorry about that, y'all. We'll get this. We'll try to get this straight beforehand.
I apologize for assaulting your ear holes.
Yeah, that was heavy. Lots of noise behind you now, but you're at a kind of a normal volume, so we'll keep on going from there.
I apologize.
Sorry about that, y'all. I want to go ahead and play this video before the senators come on for sure. So check this out, because this is what kind of really blew my mind about this TikTok situation.
Oh. If you care about the TikTok ban, you're going to want to see this. This website is called Capital Trades. You can go down and click politicians, and you can enter the name of any of the politicians that you saw asking questions today and see what they invest in. Like Dan Crenshaw. Representative Crenshaw was one of the more belligerent members today of the committee. But I think it's understandable when you see what he invests in Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, all companies that stand to benefit from this TikTok ban. I brought this up earlier in the week, but a lot of people didn't see it. But the thing that you have to realize is this TikTok ban really isn't a ban on TikTok. Here's the bill, links in my bio, but it actually seeks to give the government the ability to criminalize or ban pretty much anything. Or at least anything connected to the internet or is any kind of technology. Mark Warner, the senator who introduced this bill, is a tech sector venture capitalist investor. Looking through his disclosures, he invests in pretty much every sector that this bill would touch. He's not on TikTok, but he is other places where you can find him and let you know how you feel about his internet censorship bill. While you're on those other apps, maybe check out these people. These are just the House reps on this committee who have investment conflicts. There's a lot of them. Politicians really like their insider trading. I mean, it's hard to blame them. Rip Harshberger here disclosed 4 different buys of Meta stock earlier this year. Wouldn't you know, in that time, the stock price went up from 141, the price that she bought it up, and now it's 204. Rip Harshberger here saw a 44% return on that investment in less than 3 months. Again, it's easy to see why they really like insider trading. If you want another fun game, search the names of all the politicians who talked about protecting children today and their history on voting on gun reform. I just don't know that many schools that have had to lock down because of TikToks.
If you guys heard that, I hope you did. That was very, to me, it was very interesting. I appreciate Marianne Williams dropping that in Friends of First Sky Omaha. I thought that was very, very telling. It's just a reminder of like what Amy Huffles was just saying. This is all legal. Really speaks to the conflict of interest that that I feel like certain politicians have. You think about that; they're supposed to be representing their constituents, the people, what the people want. But if they're heavily invested in companies, then how does that not taint how they vote on certain things or what they try to push? And this is just another example of it. I'm glad you reminded me of that because it felt kind of brand new to me. But you're right. This has been going on with big pharma. This used to go on with tobacco. This used to go on this goes on all the time. And it's perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal for them to be invested in companies that would directly benefit from the laws that are being pushed or held back. And that's why when we have senators like Senator Wayne, Senator McKinney coming on. We understand, it's a good thing that we are talking to them because we're understanding that there are some senators in the legislature like them who are trying to look out for the people in their constituents in their neighborhoods and not because they have some kind of big investment in some kind of big corporations or companies that would benefit from their votes. It's kind of messed up. It's kind of crazy. I think Marianne Williams says also Meta has offices and employees in China. So like they don't even need TikTok to gather information like that. Looks like David Carney is co-signing on all this. Von Chapman says it appears that the effort to ban books and TikTok is the effort to limit or stop free speech. If they can control what you see, hear, or read, they can control your ability to have independent thought. Also, David Carney says, I don't get into the big X conspiracy much, but even as someone who doesn't use TikTok, it's obvious it's just anti-China posturing. Yeah, I think the point is well said here that they're using the fear of China being like the enemy of the West as a reason to push a bill through that first of all will help their investments and also second of all make it so they can control what goes on the internet. So this is why it's interesting to us. This is the only way that we are having these conversations is by having the ability to live stream on some of these on YouTube and Facebook, which are owned by other conglomerates. And if they decide that they can pass bills where they just can take off whatever they think is anti-American or what they don't like, that could mean us. That can mean what information you get in the first place, and just in your feed, let alone people that are able to kind of speak out on the internet about stuff that is corrupt. So I think it's a pretty interesting subject. We have made the platform we were trying to move to, fan base, that doesn't seem like it's making a whole lot of progress getting into that situation. They still haven't put the ability to live stream on there. When they do, I would absolutely like to go to try to do some of that work there too. I'd like to try to do some of the live stream work over there and see if that would work. It is owned by Isaac Hayes III. And so he's basically set it up to where it can be like a TikTok. It's a combination of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and so on and so forth. So he is trying to move into the realm of being able to do some live streaming on it and all that type of thing. And if he can, it'll be great because then we would be able to live stream a show from a Black-owned social media company that doesn't have an algorithm, so we'd be able to talk to as many people as we wanted to talk to. But if this law gets passed, even he would be subject to, them being able to come in and snatch something off if they wanted to. So again, it's about the law. He'll have to work within the law, whatever the law is, in order to do that. So it's not like you can just move to a different platform. I'm seeing people dropping off left and right. People on TikTok are going, I don't know about what's gonna happen with this TikTok ban, y'all. So go follow me over on Facebook and Instagram stories because that's where I'm gonna go start doing stuff next, just in case they ban TikTok. Like they're frantically trying to move their platforms over to other places, but they're just moving them to another place that is still controlled by somebody else, and they all have to work within whatever laws are being passed. So that's the problem there. Marianne Williams says they need to stop doing things under the guise of safety because people will stop listening to safety issues altogether. Crying wolf thing. I don't know. America ain't learned yet. They always are doing some. It's always about some scary. There's always a boogeyman.
Fear tactics.
Fear tactics.
Every day, all day. A lot of the. First of all, how am I sounding?
Too loud.
Really?
Yeah, you're distorting. Probably on the front end. We'll get it straight. Stephen Abraham is over on Facebook. Good morning, brother. He says, "Good morning, everyone. Other countries have been getting intelligence on us. I think it's a move to limit freedom of speech." Yeah, and as we were saying here in this session, it's a move for them to shut down the most popular social media platform right now, so that their other platforms can keep getting paid, the ones they're invested in. Metal Mama says the whole protecting children thing is also a farce. My child does not see certain sides of the internet. I don't want them to. I can handle it. There you go. I like that. As a matter of fact, I really like that idea too. That we all are. We're forgetting the part of the conversation where we're all regulating what it is that we bring to our own heads and with our own children as much as we can too. So very interesting stuff, man. We do have the brothers senators waiting in the wings. It is 7:47 right now, if you believe in the concept of time, and we will bring the brothers in. It is time now for the legislative report. Brother Senator Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne, put some respect on their names. Good morning. Good morning.
What up?
What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
Man, just singing a little "Can You Stand the Rain" this morning.
Oh man, come on. On the perfect day. Let me get my Johnny Gill on that. I got that Johnny Gill swag on that one. Brother Terrell, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm like a minute away from the Capitol, stuck behind a car that I'll be on.
Okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. He minute behind in the Capitol in traffic, stuck behind a car. So, yeah. We appreciate you jumping on, man, and really appreciate you guys taking the time, man. Bro, first of all, how you doing, Brother Wayne? Because you weren't here last week. You all right?
Man, I'm good. I just I text Terrell and just said, man, I need a rest day for me. Like,
bro, he ain't mad at you about that at all. I totally understand that.
It was a rest day, and I took my daughter to school, and I came home and I took a nap, and then I had to do some court work. So, but yeah, it was a rest day for me.
Half rest day, semi-rest
day.
Yeah. All right, well, welcome. I appreciate you guys coming in. Seems like I was asking Buddy, was it a full moon last couple of days? What's going on? He said it was a new moon. I said because it seemed real wild in the unicamera yesterday for one thing, and everybody and I'm getting 50 to 100 messages all over the place about what's been going on and what's happening and with the filibuster and so on and so forth. People are really talking about stuff happening. So I'm trying to find out from y'all your perspective about what's going on. First of all, just to let people know, there was a filibuster going on for about 3 weeks, and that finally went to a vote. And so what is going on now with that bill? What bill is it? 530. What bill was that? I can't remember what the bill was.
I mean, so it passed the first round. I was trying to read the comments to me. He said something about, I don't know if it was to me about my.
No. That's me and Buddy trying to get our sound straight here. Sorry about that.
Right. I was like, I'm looking like, I don't know what that's too tech for me. So 574, it passed the first round. So after that, yesterday during judiciary hearing, Senator McKinney and I had to step out. We met with fiscal regarding the kind of 1024 stuff and making sure dollars, what's out there. And then we had a long meeting with the speaker because scheduling is going to be an issue. If individuals want to filibuster everything all the way through, there's some bill. I mean, there's just a lot of bills we ain't gonna get to, and because the speaker can control the agenda, I'm under the impression right now that like criminal justice won't happen this year, and this is probably the biggest opportunity because Senator McKinney and I have been working hard with the police and others senators to get some kind of a agreement. Now we got the framework done. We sent it up yesterday for the drafts to start going so next week. But the way our schedule is looking, we got 9 weeks left. Out of those 9 weeks, 2 weeks are going to be on the budget alone. Then we got to do judges' salaries. That's probably going to take, if they filibuster at all, that'll take 2 or 3 days. We still have voter ID, which will take a week. We still have the abortion issue that'll take a week. Then we still have taxes, both property tax and income tax. That'll take another 2 weeks. And then the governor's plan for education funding will take another week. Well, that only leaves like a week and a half to 2 weeks left. And so my priority bill for PTSD for kids, particularly in our neighborhoods, that may not even get to the floor. I mean, to the floor, that may not get heard. So basically, the speaker was asking us, "What's the priorities?" And obviously, we gotta finish 1024. So that's kind of like where it is. And so it's a mixed bag of feelings for me because they're gonna build a new prison without any criminal justice reform, and that's because we're gonna filibuster or whatever all this time or the rest of the session. And so if that's how it goes, in my opinion, North Omaha gets left behind again.
So you're confirming everything that I was thinking about this, and I was hoping that you were going to tell me something different, but nope, it is what it is. So now that we're trying to follow some of these things more too, like I said, it's a mixed bag. You wanna support some of the things that they're going for. It's understandable why they have chosen to filibuster certain things. To me, I think I read somewhere that was saying that Megan Hunt and other people were going to continue to filibuster on some other things related. But now, now that we understand about what can happen in a filibuster, now we're seeing exactly what you're saying, that session might end before we could even get to. If everything goes like it is, we still don't really have enough weeks to go through all the things that there are to go through, which are very important bills that have to do with North Omaha. Like you said, North Omaha getting left behind. So we've been talking about the 1024 money all this time, and it still might be a situation where what will happen if it doesn't get discussed this time around? Is it going to have to wait till next year?
Well, no, I mean, no, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll still get the floor amount. So I'm talking about the floor amount. I think we'll still be able to do the 225. But the issue is we're asking for additional dollars, and because we had 2 days of all day all day hearings for 2 weeks, and because we haven't started having floor debate, you don't get a lot of bills passed these first 30 days. I mean, the first 30 days are always like this because people don't know. We're not on the floor talking to each other. We're not, making deals. We're not just having conversation. And most of the time, you're doing so much committee work, you don't even know what bills are on the floor until you get the agenda the night before and you start researching it the night before. So you don't pass a whole. In fact, we haven't passed one bill, and that's typical right now. So with saying that, it's like, well, right now we were doing our vote count. We probably got 27, 28, but we ain't got 33. And so you need 33 to do a cloture. And so my fear is we get to a point where, let's say it's 8-hour debate, right? Before a filibuster, he might shrink it down to 6, but I doubt it. So it's 8 hours. Well, if we take every bill to 8 hours, or let's say we get to 1024, the new LB 531, and we take it 7 hours, you better believe a Republican's going to get up and say, well, if we waited this long listening to y'all, we might as well take it the other hour and make sure y'all got 33. And 33 is a hard threshold to overcome, especially when you're asking for more money for North Omaha. Last year, we eventually got 47 senators to vote for it, but that was towards the end of session, after the budget was done, where we can go in and find money in different funds and all that. We just don't have time. And so, my fear is right now, the extra dollars we're going for, we won't be able to get simply because we don't have time.
Brother McKinney, you still there with us? We'll
He
wait till he
probably
comes back.
no, he probably walking
Yeah,
from
I'm
the
still
parking garage.
here. I'm
Okay,
just
yeah.
getting on my
When you
laptop.
Okay, when you get on, we'll talk to you in a minute about your bills, because that's what I really wanted to talk to you guys about is which ones you were concerned about not being able to have time for prison reform. You summed it up. They're going to build a new prison, but there's not going to be any reform here, and that's reform is to the people that you're talking to right now. Reform is more important than the prison being built for us, and so and the fact it's going to happen the other way around is kind of disheartening.
Right. So the reality is the prison's in the budget, right? Any reform that we do on sentencing or parole or that's a what we would call a programmatic change. That has to go through statute. So it's not in the budget. So the prison is just we're going to allocate 369 million, I think, this year to a prison. So that's going to be part of the general budget. So even if we try to blow up the budget, like I said, that's 2 weeks. The one thing in our constitution that says we have to pass a budget. So we'll stay here until the budget gets passed. Uh, but the curveball, and this is what I've been trying to explain to people, is this governor has no problem calling us for a special session. So let's say we get the budget done. And here's why that's important. We get the budget done and we adjourn sine die, which is we just adjourned for the year. This governor will call us back in, and how it works is each special session is only it's called one, how does it say it, one subject matter. So you can't be called back into a special session for everything.
Right.
So we'll get called back in for a special session to taxes only. So guess what? We can't talk prison reform. We'll get called back into a special session on education funding. Guess what? We can't talk prison reform. The only way in a special session we could talk about prison reform is if he calls us back for a prison reform. Now, it takes 33 senators to do a special session if we try to call it, but the governor can call it anytime he wants. And that's just, I mean, it's for like emergencies.
Right.
But yeah, it, it's a dangerous game right now. And I'm being transparent because this is what I'm saying to everybody. It's like at the end of the day, I understand the reasoning behind it, but at the same time, my community needs to get some things passed. So it's a tightrope to walk, but it could be a dangerous game in this situation. I'm just being blunt about it because I don't want people to be like, man, Senator McKinney and them said they was going to go down and get more money. Well,
Yeah. No, like I said, I think we're understanding some things for sure here. So it's you know how it is. It's a matter of trying to really make everybody else understand and get that message out because that's what I was getting, man. I was really getting to that. Real quick in the chat, Marianne Williams says I completely understand the filibuster, but yeah, others get hurt, but also can't miss that ours choose an agenda of hate. She also saying which does extend to BIPOC communities with anti-CRT and book banning. Yeah, don't want to deny that those are some good. That don't want to deny that this is very important issues that are the reason for the filibuster. But yes, if it holds up other things too, we got to kind of hold those two things in our mind. It's we're kind of split on the feeling of that because we also have been pushing for things and trying to help you guys push for things that can help our communities. And if it doesn't happen, then we're in a little bit of trouble there. I want to also, Kimber Snipes is asking real quick, how does referendums work? If you can answer that question, I'm going to go through Brother Von Chapman.
so referendums loosely, and you don't quote me on the law for sure, but it's around. You got to get a petition. You got to get a roughly 10% of the population, and then you get it on the ballot. And the problem is it's on the ballot, right? So we got to remember that 38% of the people still voted for slavery in Nebraska 4 years ago. So I mean, we still passed it and got it removed from our constitution, but there were still a lot of people who voted for it.
I need that list, by the way. Number one. On that one. I'm gonna switch gears here and go to Brother McKinney now that you're on the camera here and ask you about that too. So we as you heard, we've been talking about some of the bills that might be held up because of the schedule. We talked about the prison reform stuff that Justin Wayne's pushing through. What about your bills? Which bills are you concerned that might not get the time?
I have a bill today that's a speaker priority that deals with hair standards in schools. It's kind of like the school hair bill that's on the agenda, but if we don't get to it today, there's a slim chance that we ever get to it. So that's one priority that's probably a wash. My personal priority bill, LB 631, which deals with changes in the parole board. Then I've been working on an amendment to address some second look stuff and some technical violation stuff and all that type of stuff. That's probably not gonna happen. Uh, 531, Justin said it. Like we we got some votes, but we don't know if we have enough votes to get more money. So that's an issue as well. So I don't know. It's like I understand why they oppose that bill. I oppose the bill and why they filibustered. I totally get that, but my way of thinking is a little different. As far as if I walk into a party and Paul got 50 people with him that could beat me up, yeah, I could fight Paul and those 50 people all night, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna still lose. But if I could find a win, I have to get a win. You know what I mean? And in my case, as a black man, we've always had the odds against us. We had to find ways to navigate against the odds and find these little small wins and these wins that we could get, although the system is stacked up against us. So although I get it, we still can't just have this zero sum game and just a do or die approach when we got all these other things on the table that need to get addressed.
You guys talking to the allies about that? So I know that you guys ally up a lot with some of the folks there that are behind that. I saw the testimony. I saw Megan Hunt's Senator Megan Hunt, put some respect on her name, testimony the other day that was very compelling. She has a transgender son. She was definitely speaking from the heart. I know that she's been an ally on some things, and so is Senator Michaela. Put some respect on her name. So do you guys having conversations like behind the scenes where you guys are trying to having that discussion with them like we feel you but can we come up with a different strategy? How's the conversations like
Um,
with the allies?
I haven't talked to him yet. We left the floor yesterday. I think I had lunch and then a meeting or something and went into committee, then met with the speaker and fiscal. So I ain't really had time to meet with them and talk to them. I will say something this morning, but just haven't had the time yet.
What would you say? I mean, you see what they're going to do. They already said what they're going to do. I can't imagine it would be a conversation that you would have with them. That would you just remind them that hey, we got some other stuff we need to deal with. Can we come up with a strategy? What would you even say when you
I mean, it's hard. It's probably a difficult conversation because the conversation has become so personal
Hmm.
that although I would hope they would get what we're saying, since it has got so personal and so, and it is personal, especially for Senator Hunt. So I understand it, but it's also personal for me to make sure I could try to get some men and women out of prison. It's personal for me to make sure our kids ain't discriminated against in schools. So I get it 1,000%. I just think we have to figure it out some type of way because going down this road, the potential is not looking great.
I hear you.
Check. I have a
And so,
question.
I mean, so here's, I mean, the best example I can give you on the criminal justice stuff is we can put an amendment together and kick it out of committee and have a big celebration. But if I don't get it scheduled this year, and my thought is that gives the prosecutors and those who don't want criminal justice reform an entire year to go through this amendment and find the one example of why it's bad. The one person who left corrections, the one parolee who got out and committed a crime, and then next year I'm back at ground zero, starting all over with these conversations. And so it's like, from our perspective, it's like, do we show our hand right now and have an agreement, and then we don't go nowhere, and then next year it's well, there was this one guy who did this or this one person, so we don't like this part of the bill, we don't like that part of the bill, and then it's just, for me, it's just a waste of time.
I hear you. Oh, man, yeah, that's rough. I just did an interview with some people yesterday for a show called Sins of the City, and they were talking about Nico Jenkins again, and I think that's where my mind goes. You know, all they got to do is bring up Nico Jenkins and be like, "Nah, see, we shouldn't let people out." And so the strategies, like you're saying, it's interesting that we got to think of those things because they'll take it and pull it apart, just automatically. So the more I talk to you guys, the more I understand like how tough it is to fight and go through there. Buddy, your mic all right?
I don't know, man. I
You know
don't
what's
know.
going on?
Can you hear me? I can hear myself fine. That's what's killing. I can't hear the changes that I'm making.
We can hear you now. You're a little louder now. Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, I was just wondering because we spoke to Precious McKesson on Wednesday, and she mentioned that Koff had felt like she didn't have the 33 votes, and now we're hearing that she did get the 33 votes. And I'm wondering, did the filibuster kind of like, speaking of things getting personal, did the filibuster kind of backfire in the sense like push senators who maybe would not have supported Bill 574 to support it, just be vindictive, just
Or
honestly.
just to move on, or
Right. Like let's get it done. Like
I mean, blunt, if you want to be blunt about it, that's exactly what happened. Kauf didn't have the votes, and the last week things were said on the mic that people took very personal. And I mean, I've been in that situation where I don't have the votes and I'm struggling. And then used to be Senator Groney would say something on the mic personal and piss me off, and then you just like, all right, I'm going to find my votes. What I'm gonna do to get these votes done because now this dude don't piss me off. And that's just, I mean, that's human nature, right? Like when somebody tells you you can't do it, you like, man, I can figure this out. And so they spent a week trying to put an amendment together. And what the amendment says is the only thing that's banned is surgery. So all the pills, puberty blockers, every other thing to treat a trans kid is available. They just can't do surgery. And so Cal, who promised never to move anywhere, moved to there, but that wasn't accepted, and so we are where we are.
Wow. That's rough, man. I don't know much more we can say about that. If anybody in the chat, if you guys understand what's going on here, give us a little feedback on that point.
I mean, here's a silver lining, though, right? I mean, it's not all doom and gloom. So
Okay.
yesterday, I was running around on the floor, and McKinney was having these same conversations and asking some Republicans to be consistent, right? Like, so if you think kids aren't capable of making this decision because their brain is informed and all the other reasons that the Republicans were saying, McKinney called him out and was like, then when it comes to juvenile justice, why are we charging them as adults? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? And so when McKinney called him out, I was like, in my head, criminal justice reform, juvenile justice. So yesterday, some people said, I got some messages saying, you're back here talking when people are out here reading things and are crying on the mic. And I was like, look, I understand it's an emotional issue, but I'm trying to catch them in the moment to commit to. Like they taking this hard line that kids can't do anything. So we were running around yesterday saying, well, then you believe in some of these juvenile justice reforms. And I'm not going to say who, but we got about 6 or 7 Republican senators who are like, I agree. Now, okay, well then let's get something done. Now, when it comes to vote time, they might change their mind, but that's when we get to call them out. But we just asking them to be consistent. If that's how y'all really feel, then feel that way on when it comes to juvenile justice. Why are we charging 12-year-olds with murder? Why are we like let's have that conversation? And I'll give them credit. Some new senators were like, we should be consistent. So I was okay.
Okay. I did hear a lot about. There's a lot of people calling each out about inconsistencies in the legislature a lot. Every time I turn it on, I'm hearing that word somewhere. We will be consistent. You believe this over here, believe that over there. So I'm glad that some of the senators are responding to that. That is some good news. So we'll see if it's going to be time, if we're going to have time to be able to get to those things. So like I said, we got to hold both things because I definitely feel a little bit of split. I know where they're coming from, but at the same time, if there's limited time, then what are we going to do? We got other things we're trying to push as well. And that's only, what are we talking about here? 10, 12 things? There's 800 bills out here. And the senators have, how many do you guys have each? You guys got like 4 or
So I
5
mean,
each?
we got a lot, but how it works is, I mean, the 800 is never actually. You'll never get through those, right? So you got every year it comes down to your priority. So each senator gets one priority, and then each committee chair gets two additional committee priorities, and that's why it was so critical that myself or and Terrell become uh, chairs, because now between the two of us, we got each got two for the committees, and then we each got our individuals. So now you got six bills that are out there that they have priorities that will get heard if we have time. And so we'll get through we'll try to get through the priority bills. But if I'm the speaker and I really don't want to do criminal justice reform, well, I'm at the end of the list.
Yeah. I'm going to jump into the chat real quick. I was I want to try to not change gears on this too much. As a matter of fact, when I come back from the chat, I'd like to ask you guys about, coming from you guys, what's next steps for us to be able to support and help? What can we do? Somebody in the chat did say that they were going to contact, let me see if I can find that. They were going to contact Senator Hunt. Let's see where that was at. David Carney in the chat over on YouTube. He said, "I'll write to my rep Hunt. This is hard, but there needs to be dialogue and coalition building. I'd like to see what you would, let us know what it is that you want to write to your representative, or you don't have to let us know, but I'm just wondering now, what it is that you're going to ask Hunt as far as that stuff is concerned. But going back into the chat a little bit, Von Chapman says, without attention focused on juvenile justice and prison reform, recidivism will continue to be a revolving door that will continue to adversely affect the black and brown community. I think we're in agreement there for sure. Kimber Snipes says, someone who works for OHA approached me and they were very excited about McKinney's bill. So that's good to hear about OHA being excited about it. Also, Von Chapman left a longer message here. He says, with all due respect, in the meantime, in between time, Senator Wayne, in regard to your original intent for TIF and its use in blighted areas, North Omaha, and now the city of Omaha redefining your intent for TIF to include downtown areas that were never considered blighted, has all but ignored the actual blighted areas in North Omaha, including specifically all the properties listed in the land bank. Can an amendment be crafted to correct or at least address this issue of TIF and blight in North Omaha to encourage and sustain economic infrastructure growth by and for the residents of North Omaha?
So the issue, I'll just tell you real quick. The issue with the
Okay.
TIF is you can't really carve out TIF for Omaha because it's in the Constitution. So we worked hard on that extremely blighted. I agree with you, Vaughn, that the intent was not ever to be downtown. It was intent to be North and South Omaha. Uh, McKinney's now the urban affairs chair, so I'm passing that baton to him to try to figure that piece out.
Yeah, what you thinking right offhand on that?
Just working on it. We've been having a lot of conversations about TIF this year, and I've called the city out on many times about how they utilize TIF and haven't bit my tongue on it. And they know where I stand on it. I tell them like the way I use TIF is wrong and it's against the intent. And they try to argue why, but honestly, you know, they haven't been using it in the best way, and it hasn't been working for who it's supposed to work for. So we have to figure something out. Probably won't happen this year due to time, but we got next year.
Anything that we can do as just supporters of y'all to put some pressure on people who are using TIF wrong?
I mean,
Go ahead, Trey.
it's tough. I mean, yeah, y'all know how the city operates. You could speak out about everything you oppose, but what usually happens with the city?
Yeah, they do what they want. Marianne Williams says people will be mad at me, but there's inconsistencies in the energy brought by the left too. We won't see the balcony full of juvenile justice supporters. We ain't gonna be mad at you for saying that. We think they feel the same way.
I mean, we're gonna have a blunt conversation. That's the realest thing, and that's probably been my, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but the same people who are rallying right now, they were the same people who voted to remove slavery as a mandatory requirement to be taught, but allowed genocide to be taught, the Holocaust to be taught. You know, there's bills out here that directly affect, like this hair bill. This hair bill directly affects Black, Brown, and Native Americans. There are schools that literally cut Native American kids' hairs which is sacred to them in Western Nebraska, that this bill would not allow them to do. There's lawsuits right now pending in Western Nebraska on these schools. So Terrell's bill today deals exactly with discrimination, but we don't got the same energy to fight for that.
Why is that? I know that we talked before about some bills being sexier than others and so on and so forth, but why is it? Mm-hmm.
I would say people are convenient allies. And that's not even just people in this body, it's just people in general. You see how people crowd the Capitol for all these other issues, and we're talking about criminal justice is an important issue to us, but nobody's lining up to come speak in support of our bills or come to the Judiciary Committee. But then you leave you, and we got probably three of the biggest criminal justice related bills on the agenda, and nobody's there. But then you leave a room, and it's a bunch of all these people who claim they support us and all this other stuff there, not nowhere to be found. So the energy isn't the same, and it is what it is. But I'm just telling them, don't be fake. Like, don't act like you care, because you obviously don't.
I'm trying to figure out why that is. I'm
so I'm biracial, so I get the luxury of having the worst and the best of both worlds. When in my family, and what it comes down to for me is you can't imagine, you can't understand, you can't put yourself in those shoes, right? So it isn't till, and I'm gonna use my mother for example. It isn't until my mother had a biracial kid, a black kid, and we get pulled over, me and my brother and my cousin, in the Jeep, and they think we stole the Jeep, and we all drawn at gunpoint, and then they call her to verify, is this really your kid? It isn't until that point she can understand, because you just can't understand until somebody you love is actually in that situation, right? You can't imagine being in that situation. And so I think I don't think people are evil or on purpose or nothing like that. I believe in the good of people, but I think when it comes to some of these issues, they literally could never see themselves, so it don't become that personal to them. You know what I'm saying? It's not. But for us, it is personal for us because we live it. And so I think that what it comes down to, like, they supportive, but they ain't got the same, and it's on both sides of the aisle. They supportive, but they ain't got the same fire because it doesn't affect them. Where in some of these other issues, you say, well, it's my kid or it's my cousin. It's somebody I know and love. So I got a little feeling because I can empathize, I can sympathize, I could be in their shoes. But on some of these issues, they can't put their head around it. They can't, because they can't see themselves ever being that way. It's
kind of human nature.
I said it last year. I think McKinney on the floor. Like, you, huh? What'd you say?
I was just saying it feels like a little bit of human nature. Yeah, you lagging just a little bit.
Yeah, but it's like last year on the floor, I was like, none of y'all have talk, right? There's probably me, McKinney, and I are the only one who have to talk about to their kids about getting pulled over by the police. Like, nobody else in this body has to have that conversation, so they can't understand that conversation.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. Yeah, I'm thinking about it because I'm trying to figure out why the solution. It makes sense. It makes sense why, and in order to solve this, in order to come up with some kind of solution, we got to get past that part of it. The part of it that we only are going to really back the stuff that affects us personally, and figure something out. So let me ask you this. I know that you guys are a couple of senators that actually talk to your constituents, and you and some of these things that you're shooting for is not just your own ideas, but ideas that you formed from talking to friends and family members and constituents and people in your areas that have this issue. So where are those people at? The people that originally you've talked to originally and wanted to help you back or help you create this legislature, create these bills, create these ideas in order to go push for prison reform and so on and so forth. Where are those constituents at that want this, obviously want this, which is one of the reasons why you guys go for it? They don't support either. Is it just a general overall lack of support for these ideas, even coming from the people that want them?
I think you got to think about where the people are at that want them. You know, a lot of these people, like for like my criminal justice bills, a lot of those bills were written by men in prison.
Yeah. I was just going to say they can't exactly come
They
down to the
helped
unit
me.
camera.
They helped me craft the bills, and then on the other hand, you're talking about people that got to get up and go to work every day. They really don't have the convenience to get down here and take time off, and I understand it. So that's where they're at. But what I'm saying is, it's a lot of people that are frequent flyers in the legislature that's here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Conveniently don't show up for this type of stuff though.
Mm-hmm. Okay, those people we're talking about. Yeah. Kimber Snipe says they're talking about performative allyship. Is what you're talking about. Tony Johnson 12 on YouTube says hope people understand politics. Strategy is key. Whoever wants Wayne's seat needs to work well with McKinney. Just keep that in mind when names start popping up. Like right now, names popping up yet? You know, we want to be the first to know.
We did get a name.
We got a name.
Remember on Wednesday, one of the chat chimers gave us a name. I forgot the name. Some lawyer.
I didn't write it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember that. We didn't.
Yeah, I don't repeat names until I.
Okay. It looked like you might know, but we'll stop there because I don't know, so I don't want you to start blurting things out.
Right. Next thing I know, it'll be a clip of us talking, and I say their name, and it'll say, "See, Wayne supports."
Hey, I wanted to give a shout out to Brother Wells Lavelle that's in the chat, man, over on Facebook. I appreciate you, man. We need to do something about making sure that we can get some of our Native brothers and sisters up when it's time to talk about the hair bill that Brother Terrell McKinney got. I'll throw that out to you because I know me and you get to organizing and doing things. So shout out to you as well. Marianne Williams in the chat, YouTube, says there's a level of acceptable oppression for the BIPOC communities. Though it's gone on a long time and it's normalized. Brother Von Chapman also talked about traditional racism, the elephant in the room when it comes to the Nebraska unicameral. Also, Tony Johnson, let's see, Whitney Richardson in the house. Good morning to you over on YouTube. Said that's real. There's always a lack of empathy when it comes to things that only affect Black and brown communities.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Same skin in the game.
Tony Johnson 12 says Black experience should be part of all conversations in Lincoln. Missing from attendance and lobbying efforts, other communities show up and show out.
Man,
yep. Just like voting, we can do better. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, that just kind of reminds me, Senator McKinney. Whatever happened? What's the status of your racial impact bill? Like that's come up several times as far as like, okay, like that'd be convenient. This is where that bill would help. This is why it is.
I mean, it's stuck in the executive committee. It's not going to get voted out. It's stuck in there.
When you say that, what do you mean? How's it stuck?
I don't have the votes to get them to. The people on the executive board don't want to vote it out.
Speaking of support, have they given testimony or comment to why?
Well, one I talked to was like, "Oh, I kind of don't think we should have those on all bills," and I was like, "Well, that's great you say that. This is only related to criminal justice and juvenile justice, and they still wouldn't even vote it out." So,
so you've even limited it. I'm thinking it needs to be overarching like that. It's kind of a no brainer.
It should be, but I tried to take this first.
I'm trying to work with them.
Make it narrow, but now that they don't even
give them an inch, they'll take a mile.
I'm gonna just introduce one just for everything.
Oh man.
Man, stop being so sad, man. This is a great day. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, I this morning it popped in my head. Can you stand the rain? I'm about to go up on the mic and sing a little Johnny Gill.
Oh, that's what's up. We can sing that to y'all because on a perfect day, know that I can count on you. Yeah, y'all, we can count on y'all for some answers on stuff for sure, man. Really appreciate you guys coming on and it's helping out, man. This weekly thing is really, really how we're gaining some traction on just understanding and hopefully action and support next. And it keeps it on our minds, which will keep it in our hearts, which will push it in our hearts and make us have some motivation for really kind of continuing on the fight. I was just talking to somebody yesterday about that. I was like, man, if it wasn't for the fact that we got some folks in there that are trying to make some change happen, it'd feel real doom and gloom out here in Omaha right now. So it would feel like what can change, man? We're in a sea of red. I had to remind myself about the blue dot. I ain't even heard that phrase for the last 3-4 years. Like we are, this is what we have. We have allies. We have folks that are in there pushing. We got folks that are in there fighting. And it's simple stuff, man. It's not even like a partisan thing. It's not even like a partisan fight. It's just, can we please get some stuff for our neighborhoods? Can we please help some of our citizens out here that have the most need? And so, just that. Hopefully, other people can reasonably understand that's what this fight is about, and come on in and ally with us as well. So. That's where I stand on that, man. Stephen Abraham says, "Stay strong, focus, senators." Appreciate the same thing. Tony Johnson Tutt said white women was particularly crying and trembling talking about the voter ID sessions. They was in there hard on that voter ID issue for sure. I did hear that a lot.
And I'm gonna give a shout out to Senator Brewer because Senator Brewer is very, very conservative. But this is what I mean by this. Why you got to get to know people, because Brewer and I started having conversations about fundamental rights, and he's the big gun guy. But he also views voting as a fundamental right. So so the oddest couple yesterday was Senator Brewer and former Senator Moorfield sitting in a room trying to figure out how to make voter ID actually work for everybody in a way that doesn't hinder them. And I'm like, they say politics makes strange bedfellows because these two both believe in the same thing. But if you get caught up in the noise and you start taking things personal, then you don't want to sit across the room with somebody because you're so damn mad at them and you don't get nothing done. And so that's what people just got to remember.
You kind of said a mouthful right there, which you kind of read my mind as well. Like getting caught up in the noise, like don't get glossed over that. Don't gloss over getting caught up in the noise, because it seems like you said, I don't want to just inherently say people are evil, like those Republicans in their agenda of evil. Yes, there's some cognitive dissonance there and some things that I just don't understand where they're coming from.
It's some racism.
Yeah, but with that same energy, with the racism thing, if I was if I'm in front of you and we're having a conversation, I don't think you would come with that same energy. You get what I'm saying?
No. Now you get on social media and even on the floor, right? Like you get on the mic and you start going. You protected on the mic. Like ain't nobody gonna come over there or there's a couple times I charged somebody.
There have been a few shoes thrown.
But at the end of the day, though, you comfortable. But yeah, when you pull people off, like it's unfortunate, but the mic in the body is now becoming for the likes. It isn't becoming for let's talk and figure out a compromise. Like we used to literally. I mean, when I started here, and that's not that long ago, 6 years ago, I would get on the mic and will somebody yield to a question, and I'd be like, would you accept this? Like I'm calling them on the mic, we're gonna get it on the record, we're gonna negotiate as we talk through this. That don't happen no more. It's we're gonna negotiate off the mic, underneath the balcony, and then get back up and say stuff that we don't, to piss each other off.
So do you think it should get back to that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the only way. Look, the one thing there's two things I hope I could pass on to McKinney, and McKinney can pass on to the next senators that I learned from Republicans. You got to step back, and first thing is you got to step back and see the whole board. You got to make sure you have a whole strategy. And when I say look, you got to look up on that board and look at your votes and look at the whole session and say, where are these votes going to be for every bill? Like you got to see the whole board. And this is high school all over. You can't piss somebody off because then they're going to be like, I ain't voting for you, or I'm going to go downstairs, or I'm going to check out and just present not vote because now it's personal. Like you can't get personal. And the second thing is again, this is where I get in trouble, but I just got to speak my truth. We don't have the luxury to be pissed off. Mm-hmm. Senator McKinney and I don't have the luxury to be like, I ain't working with you, I'm gonna kill all your bills. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We don't have that luxury like some other folks in this body because their communities don't need anything. So if I come in here and I'm like, I'm killing everybody's bills,
you automatically killed your own bills at that point.
Exactly. And I'll tell you what, that's the hardest thing. And people hear me talk at the 1024 meetings. That's the hardest thing is to swallow your pride. But I did. I called Willie Barney. I did. I called the mayor because it's about we got to get this money and get things going for North Omaha. And that's the same mindset you got to have on the floor. I mean, there's times that McKinney and I lead the floor, and the problem is we got to call people outside the body to get our heads back right. Because when me and McKinney start talking, we go down a dark hole. Like, the hell with everybody in here, and then everybody's like, Justin, y'all got to pass some bills. Y'all can't be saying the hell with everybody in here.
Yeah.
We don't have that luxury that a lot of other people in this body can have, and that's on both sides of the aisle.
I feel like they need to be appreciating that because didn't they just have to deal with Ernie Chambers, who was burning everybody down at the mic all the time? Like,
man, told him.
I'm gonna say this because McKinney can't. I love, and I'll say he can't because he would anyway, but he might. But I love Chambers. I was down here and I served with him, but even Chambers didn't filibuster every bill. Even when he didn't get some things, it was to a point where Speaker Scheer would walk up to me and him because I sat right in front of him. And it was, hey, are we going to get through the agenda today? And Chambers and I would decide, like, hey, well, okay, maybe we will, we won't. Wow. It was strategic.
Yeah.
And he recognized, what do I want, right? That year he passed the death penalty, he didn't filibuster everything. He didn't go, it wasn't that he didn't want to, but he realized he had a window that he can pass something that he was trying to get past his entire life, get rid of the death penalty. And he had a lot of Republican support. That doesn't mean you sell your soul. That doesn't mean you change who you are. You just say, do I really need to fight this fight and kill everything, or can I just fight it, do the best I can without pissing people off?
I'm glad you said that because that's what I'm learning from me getting into this whole situation here. I'm learning it's about the strategy. It's about what you guys have to compromise with and do, and you can't do that without seeing the whole board and all that. So I'm glad you said that because I always had this vision of Brother Chambers going in and just fiery going after what he wants, but there's no way that you can even be in a situation that long without having a seeing the whole board and play and having some strategy with what's going on. And when anytime you're dealing with any other entities and other people, there's times you got to swallow pride. There's a time that the pride needs to come up. There's a time and a place for all of it when you're dealing with other people. So I'm glad you kind of explained that about that too. When we saw the fiery moments, it was because they were fiery moments, not necessarily like that. That's how it was going on the whole time. Because the strategy part is really the thing that I'm learning. So I attribute that to you guys being open enough and honest enough to be able to kind of lay out some of these things and us learn about them. So we really appreciate that, man. 8:32 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, I know that you guys are off to go do some things. We always got you held up. Any final words before you guys get out of here, Brother McKinney?
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll see how the day go. I really don't have a lot of words. I guess we'll see how the day go, and if we end with 6:30 not going somewhere, I'm gonna have some strong words for a lot of people, and I'm gonna just leave it there.
Man, do we need to send him, mic him up? What do we need? We need to.
Well, I got to co-sign that because I sat in the education hearing when this bill came up, and I seen natives travel 6-7 hours in tears talking about how sacred their hair is and how it's getting cut. I seen young African Americans say they couldn't wear braids for graduation, and the look on these mothers and kids' face. And to me, that's discrimination. That's impacting these people, and we got to get that done.
With that, like I said, brother Wells, if you're still in the chat, let's put something together, man, and keep our eye on when it's time to go down and support that. So most def. Also, Mama God earlier in the chat is asking Brother McKinney, man, maybe you can come on another time to discuss your initial perceptions as a junior senator for the community and reality of actual experiences. I don't know if you have time another time like off on a weekend or something like that where we can talk about it. Would you mind doing that?
Yeah, man, McKinney gonna say it in front of me anyway, so you know what I'm saying. I mean, I can just sit here and listen too.
That conversation will probably give me probably be a lot of people try to kill me after that conversation.
Man,
it's about it.
Okay. Okay. Don't want that.
Maybe we need to record it and just put it in the vault until you're doing.
Right. The archives.
It'd be like the JFK assassination. 25 years after McKinney passes away, 80 years from now, it'll be released.
And he was in there going, forget all y'all. Like he was in there really going in. He was like, y'all didn't know, but in my head, I was just repeating Tupac lyrics all session.
Yep.
Man.
Hey, hey, you guys have a good one, man. I appreciate you guys coming in. We'll check you guys next week. Take care of yourselves. I think somebody said that in the chat, man. Hope that you guys are also taking care of yourself.
Yep. Whitney Richardson.
Yeah, Whitney Richardson. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, man, self-care as well. You know, take care of yourselves too, bro. Take care of I know you guys are already taking care of yourselves and families and all that good stuff. So really appreciate you guys just taking the time and fighting a good fight. And yeah, man.
Actually, I'm gonna give a shout out to y'all because this is it's almost a stress relief. It's a good way for us to end the weekend because there's a lot of things we can't really say and can't really talk about because people getting their feelings, but be able to come on and just laugh and joke about some of the things that are real serious, but have a fruitful discussion. For me, it's a way to decompress. I really appreciate it.
Man,
Thank you, man.
It means a lot. Thank you.
It does. It really does. I'm glad we got a home for that, a platform for that. So we really appreciate you. Now, if they ban TikTok, they might end up coming after us next. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Do it as long as we can do it. All right, fellas.
All right, so
we're gonna let you go. We'll catch up with you soon. Appreciate you.
All right.
Peace. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It is come in hot. All right.
It's just been one of those days, huh? Everything hot.
Everything hot. We'll take a quick break and come on back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Call us a mental retreat from all the BS. We'll be back. Stay tuned. On a perfect day, I hope that I can count on you. Hey man, come on. Don't mess with my new edition. Welcome back.
Man.
Welcome back. First
Heard
time
they've been killing the stage.
Man, except for Bobby Brown. I don't know what Bobby Brown be sitting in a chair on stage nowadays, bro. I don't know what's going on. Can't tell if it's TD Jakes or Bobby Brown on the stage sometimes. I don't know what's happening.
Nah.
Welcome back though, First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. I see he got some steps, man. I ain't gonna talk about Bobby too bad. He got some. I see they trying to bring the steps back.
Don't do Bobby.
But Bobby was like sitting on a chair on stage for a minute, man. I'm sorry. I ain't mad at him. I'd be sitting on the chair too if I was on stage right now. It's when you get older, it's tough. It's tough to be hopping around like that and sing at the same time. Like,
yeah. It's never an easy feat.
Yeah, you got when you like me and get out of breath for walking up the stairs, then you can't be doing the running man and singing at the same time anymore. That's just the days is over.
And do a whole run, of shows.
Really appreciate everybody that's on, man. I appreciate you guys for giving the Senators some love there. Whitney Richardson says thanks for the Senators for all that you do, for sure, man. Tony Johnson 12. This is a new name.
Yeah, I haven't seen that name. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome over on YouTube. Says good discussion. Can we get one with school board members? So much going in local schools, but nobody's talking about it. Yeah, we actually do have Brianna Full, who is a friend of First Sky Omaha and a serious chat chimer. And we've been talking to her about maybe coming on regularly as well to talk about some things that's going on, since now she's on the board and can give us some of the insight. So really appreciate that. Really need to appreciate that comment there, and maybe we can go ahead and pick up those conversations and talk to some more folks. We can always do that. We've been on in this legislative session right now. We've been trying to basically build the team. The teamwork makes the dream work side of things, get people of like mind to get together and take some action on some things. But we will be introducing some new guests. We will still have guests on that we have questions for. It won't always be the most pleasant conversations, because we bring people on and have real talk, real time with them. And it's not just going to be everybody who is of like mind and on the same page, on the same team. So that definitely will be coming up. As a matter of fact, in season 6, we're definitely going to get a little bit more adversarial with the action pieces and confronting things that need to happen, because it'll be all about feet on the ground support in season 6.
Man, just to hear you say season 6, though, it's like, man, we've been doing it that long. Man,
yeah, man, yeah, season 6 will be what will that be, year 3?
Yeah, it's still in year 3. The back half of year 3.
There it is. Ariel's 402 is giving us an update. He said, hit the like button on your way out. 195 subscribers and 3 new. That's what's up. Race to 200. We're trying to get to 200 subscribers over there on YouTube. So appreciate that. 195 subscribers and 3 new ones as of today. Really appreciate that very, very much. Nice. Brooks says, sounds like I came in on the tail end of an important conversation. I mean, if you come in late, then that's just how it is.
That's what you're going to get.
Always are coming in at the tail end of an important conversation. But if you miss any parts of the show, you can always go back to YouTube and Facebook and check out the show in its entirety. And when you do, definitely check out the chat, because that's where a lot of this stuff goes on. Really appreciate that. Metal Mama says, don't be discouraged. We see you fighting for us. We're thankful for you both. Just want to go ahead and put that on the record for the senators to come back and check out. Leah Keisha says, thank you, senators. Brianna Full says, the speaker has no control over the body. He gave his power to Slama. We have to go back and rediscuss some of that statement right there, that comment right there for sure. Gwen Easter gives us a good morning. Appreciate that. Pop says, you brothers are in a fight with both your hands tied behind your back. That is tragic, and you are heroic. To say thank you is not nearly enough, but thank you. Appreciate you, Pops. Yep. Appreciate everybody that's giving them the support. Let's do that in action as well. When it's time if we do get to their bills, then let's make sure that we try to put something together and go up and support those things as well. And you can always write letters. You can always drop, a message or two anytime for any of these bills that are there. You can just go to the legislative page there, go to the bill, hit that, make a comment, and go ahead and write something in. You can do that at any time. It's not just if the bills are being discussed, but definitely support them. The more letters, the more people that are able to see things. When it finally does get discussed, you'll have a bunch of letters in record that that'll be for what the brothers are trying to do. Stephen Abraham says, stay strong and focused during adversity strengthens your fortitude, which helps a person have clear thoughts and be solution focused to help the population you serve. I appreciate the senator's hard work in the political realm. I do too, man. I appreciate you saying that. Oh, New Najiel's in the house. He says, good morning, family. Great discussion with the senators. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, peace.
Yeah. Mama Guy said after watching the video of Mary J. Blige doing some kind of senior citizen dip during a concert, she might want to grab Bobby's chair too.
Not a senior citizen dip. And the orthopedic drop.
The SC dip's what they call it. The orthopedic drop, yeah. That's what. Hey, I don't care, man. Mary still got it, and and the new piece that she got out too is super strong. So yeah, man. I'm loving the era right now. You can call me old if you want to, but everybody who I'm digging on right now has been doing it for a minute, including Mary J.
And still doing it,
and still killing it, still selling out shows, selling out stadiums.
Man, so that was Gibbs. That was Big Gibbs' message. He's been saying, like, you might not have heard from Goody Mob, but they all they all they're all working. They're all booked up. He said he's booked up till 2024.
Yeah.
Or 2026.
That's what's up.
Man. On side note, speaking of Goody Mob, man, get well soon to CeeLo Green. He just fell off a horse. Yeah, man. I was gonna go to the party too, man. You get well soon to CeeLo Green, and I hope he's all right.
First of all, why you gonna go to a party? Why you gonna enter the party on a horse?
That horse was scared.
Now you number one, man. Number one. So CeeLo Green still on his theatrics and ended up falling off the horse. And you know he our age and he my age now, so he probably really hurting. I was like, I missed my whole side. Come on, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Pops is reminding me too. He says, I love Mary's acting. Yeah, Mary J. Blige's been acting in some things lately, and I'm just like, man, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Killing it.
Starting some new things. But yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to 50 years of hip hop. Shout out to everybody. Been really digging on the De La Soul albums that I missed over the years from the beginning, man. They're back on the charts because of all their stuff dropping in all the streaming platforms now. So that's what's up. And like I said, everybody who's really doing something. I saw something yesterday, man, almost brought me to tears. I told you what gets me emotional is when I see men honoring other men, especially when it comes to mentors honoring mentees. So I had no idea that J. Cole put a song out called I Let Nas Down.
You never heard that?
Never heard this, bro.
What?
So somebody had a whole thing on that that talked about the whole story, man. So they talked about the song that he put out, and I remember that song that J. Cole put out that was super poppy. When I first heard J. Cole, I was like, oh, this cat's he's got the rhyme schemes and stuff that I really like. Then I lost track of J. Cole, and it was because he went through this little period where he had to get his stuff on these charts, man. He had his management team was like, you got to make a hit. You can't have nothing on Jay-Z's label and not have no hit out. So he put a straight poppy kind of singing song out, man. And
talking about Workout?
Workout was really not my style. And I didn't really have any conscious thought about it. Like, oh, I ain't mess with J. Cole no more. It wasn't all like that. It was just like, okay, yeah, he got a little pop song out, whatever. And he got wind that Nas didn't like it. Nas was like, why did he do that, man? He didn't have to do that. He's a straight lyricist. He didn't have to go pop like that. So Cole puts out a song called I Let Nas Down, talking about how he let his hero down with this pop song. The whole story. And when you're talking about somebody with some serious lyrics that can tell a story, the most compelling thing in the world is when I hear an MC that got skills that's telling a relevant story. That's a story that's happening right now. It is back to that old, this is the newscast of the hood type of thing when you do it like that. He made a whole song out of this thing. And so, and then later on in the discussion, so Nas got wind of this, and Nas came back with a verse that almost had me in tears. There's a remix of this song, and then Nas came back like, "You didn't let me down, bro. I was just trying to tell you, like, you. This is what happens when you take the mantle, when you get the mic passed down to you, and you're gonna be that new hot lyricist. Just be true to yourself. You don't got to go pop. I was just trying to let you know a little bit of game, you know. But you didn't let me down. These are all the travels of what it comes to be, you know, what it means to become a rap guy. This is what you got to go through." And so he's giving him, he sent a verse back, giving him advice, and saying, "You didn't let me down. It's all good." You know, it was just beautiful to me to see, first of all, an older rapper and a younger rapper, having that much respect for each other and honor for each other.
It's usually we hear more, so it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like with J. Cole and I believe Lil Pump or somebody, you know, one of the, internet rappers that they had to sit down because there was some disrespect between the generations. But yeah. I don't know if I heard the Nas response though. I'm gonna have to look
Nas response verse, bro. That got me like, oh wow, you know, like that was what's up. That was a true mentor going, bro. I'm gonna keep you sharp. But it's gonna be with love and respect, and I'm gonna remind you that you're the next level here. You know what I'm saying? Like it was great. It was great. I can't remember the words to it, but it was really something else. And it goes to show, man, you know, hip hop is so much more than just a genre and a music.
Man.
When they say that where would we be without it? You know, when you think about things like that, like Right. I'm thinking about it a lot, man. I'm thinking about it a lot now, like how even the stuff that I first got wind of anything that had to do with like um, knowledge of self came from rap songs for me. That's where I heard it first. There's so much that even people who did well in school and everything else, we learned so much from just listening to hip hop and being in the world of hip hop, I should say, more than just the music. That you wonder where a lot of folks would be, a lot of people of color would be, especially a lot of black folks, especially would be without it. So yeah, again, we're celebrating the 50th year of hip hop this year. We're going to continue to do that and bring out some little stories and things that have to do with this genre that we love so much. Yeah, KRS-One, the teacher, for sure.
Man.
Fifth Dimension. I was watching him talk about the Fifth Dimension the other day, and you know, he had a great example of what that was and how you the voice that's in your head is you. You know what I'm saying? And what does your spirit actually say? Really, really, really great. We're going to move on here. Lady Keisha says, I have to jump off early for a meeting. Thank you so much to everyone for making this a great week of shows. Have a wonderful weekend. Appreciate you coming through. Really appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. And we will definitely get to some haps. Today is Friday, so we'll get to a few haps. But before we do that, just want to jump into a little lightning round about some of the other things we wanted to talk about. But before I do that, buddy, what are you thinking here? You know, I know that you are a purveyor of hip hop in a way that not a lot of brothers that I know even are. You're a student of it in a really big way. I only got a few friends that are a student of it as deep as you are. What do you have to say about the world?
I mean, as far as hip hop, man, like what it means to me, hip hop basically, you know, no disrespect to my Dukes and Papa God, but hip hop raised me. Like hip hop, you know, had a big part in informing me about the world and who I want to be in the world. You know what I mean? And some things about myself that I might not have liked, I've learned to accept through hip hop and through music. You know, shout out to you know, me being called like a nerd growing up and kind of being a part of nerd culture, and then finding like a Lupe Fiasco. You know what I mean? And loving skateboarding and hearing a song like Kick Push, like, you know, just being able to find, like we talk about representation, being able to find a representation of myself out there in a cool, popular way, meant a lot. But beyond that, like you said, just the knowledge of self, like really studying Africa Bambaataa and you know, the real work that he was doing, going to Africa, earning the name Africa Bambaataa, starting the Zulu Nation, and you know, the work that the Universal Zulu Nation does. And I got some friends who are part of the Zulu Nation. I mean, shout out to you know, Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest, Native Tongues, and Erykah Badu and their whole introduction and infusion, and the Wu-Tang, you know, watching the series now on Hulu, and the whole infusion of the 5% Nation of Gods and Earth. Like that's a reason, that's also a part of the reason why I joined the Moorish Science Temple of America, because a lot of that, you know, self-knowledge was a part of it. You know what I mean? That was a part of it. So
if it wasn't for hip hop, we'd have had no representation of any positive African things growing up. Nothing in school about any of that. Nothing in school about anything that had to do with any higher representations of people of color at all. And I got it all from my family and hip hop. That's really it. And the stuff that my family was talking about was stuff that I was hearing in hip hop. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's that's a hip hop icon. Okay, that's what's up.
Hey, he was Khalifa back in high school. That was definitely one of the ones. But you know, my palate has advanced since then.
All right, we're gonna get out of here, buddy. You wanna go through a couple of the stories that we might pick up on Monday, real quick?
Yeah, we kind of talked about a lot actually. We got into the TikTok ban.
Mm-hmm.
Got into, let's see what else is left. Really, Afro Man. I mean, yeah. Afro Man is suing the Adams County Sheriff's Office in Ohio, where he lives. Apparently, there was a raid on his home, and Afro Man took footage of their faces during the raid and used it in music videos and social media posts without their consent. And now there's been some backlash from that, and apparently a lawsuit is going on. So.
Jeez.
Yeah, he might have to pay. Afro Man might have to pay up. So that's there's that.
I'd like to talk about that at some point because
is there something deeper to that?
Well, I mean, think about the notion of the police raided your house. You film them, and now they're gonna sue you for them coming to raid your house. They're gonna sue you for being embarrassed about a raid. If you're gonna be embarrassed about the raid, maybe they shouldn't raid it. They shouldn't raid it in the first place. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess Miss Erica Phelps, she seems to be with you. She says that was a while ago that happened. Afro Man wasn't wrong.
If the police raided my house, all the cameras in the house would be on for sure. So
I think it's the fact that he shared it on social media, but even still, like, what does that mean for anybody else who records the police and shares it on social media? Can they be sued? I see it. I see it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. So I think it's definitely worth talking about. But anyway, moving on. Anything else that we need to talk about that we're gonna pick up on Monday?
Eventually, I do want to get. We haven't really had time to get into this sheriff situation in the child prison, but that is something that we need to talk about. Again, we call it the child prison, but it is just a youth detention center that has been and is being built downtown. And there's some issues about that transition, and that's something that we need to talk about, especially with us having the conversation of Nico Jenkins and the extreme cases of what can happen when a child falls through the cracks. There might be some semblance of that with this situation. So eventually, I do want to spend a good amount of time on that conversation.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely pick that up on Monday as well. It'll be News Monday when we do. So hopefully, we'll have somebody on from the Reader. Have those guys come back on again, talk about what it is they're working on. They got some new stuff coming up, so we'll definitely check in with them on that. And just real quick, let's see if I can even save that. Oh, I can. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely pick those things up. I just want to get into a few hats before we get out of here real quick.
Let's do it.
First of all, our sister Whitney Richardson has that show, Political Evolution. It's going down. You need to go check out. She has a lot more episodes I missed, so I got to go back and catch up on her shows. But definitely catch up on her shows, and of course, she has our own Kimera Snipes in a new episode 7, Creating a Culture of Voting with Kimera Snipes. So definitely go to where you get your podcasts. Go to iTunes to get mine, and check out what Kimera has to say. She also has another one with Precious McKesson on there too. That was a great conversation as well. So definitely hook that up, check that out. Also at the Benson Theater, a couple of people coming to town, man. Amira Sackett and Mr. Mike Beatbox Meets Poppin' on March 28th. Definitely get your tickets for this. This is going to be a very different show, something that's going to be very entertaining. Some internationally renowned artists coming and showing you some things, cultural things that is very, very interesting and important and artistic. Definitely come and support that. Check that out. Go to bensontheater.org. Get your tickets for that as well. Really appreciate everybody who has been supporting that. Also, this is one I was looking for. I just found right now. This is Mama God's flyer right here, the Easter Bunny stuffed balloon gift baskets. If you guys are doing these things, man, you want something different and creative, definitely check out Mama God's situation here. This is a friend of First Sky Omaha. You already know who Mama God is, and we like to support the fam here. So check out some of these things here, and you can get a hold of her and talk to her more about this. Also, you can also text 402-212-6810 or email exquisitedelight@gmail.com. You got your deluxe, your standard, and your fun size, different sizes, different price points. And I can attest to the fact that Mama God is very creative when it comes to the arts and crafts and things like that as well. So definitely check her out if you're celebrating Easter and you want to get some of these kinds of balloon gift baskets. Definitely do that. And another one I was going to try to pull too that I failed to pull, of course, tomorrow, Curly Martin is having his life celebrated at the Old Loves Jazz, 2510 North 24th Street. Saturday, tomorrow, 4 to 11. I will definitely be down there. The family wants me to speak. There's going to be a lot of musicians there. Musicians are going to come in and out and probably just playing jam all day long, man, in a celebration of the life of Curly Martin, life and journey of Curly Martin. So shout out to him. Shout out to Cynthia and the family. Shout out to Stevie O and the family, Terrace, and everybody who is a part of the family there that lost their family member, and a shout out to all of us that lost our friend, mentor, and living legend, icon, Curly Martin. So if you can stop by, come on through. It's over at the North Omaha Music and Arts Center, which we call Loves the Old Loves Jazz, and definitely come through and check that out. And yeah, I think that we're going to try to keep it upbeat and celebrate the life for sure. Another thing that's going on over at the Benson Theater as well that's pretty important. Benson Theater presents a radio theater Omaha production, Black Women Rebel. It's a live audio drama. So these are people that are coming to the stage, and they're going to be recording a live radio show. You get to see the actors up there doing their thing, the Foley artists that are making the sound effects on the side. So you can close your eyes and you can basically like see this whole film that they're putting together in your head, the way that radio drama works. So I don't know if you guys have ever listened to the radio and heard like storytelling on the radio, like old school stuff. Pops actually hit me to some of this stuff when I was a kid, man. He had like Abbott and Costello tapes, and he had tapes and stuff from old radio dramas and comedies. And it's a really interesting thing because you can close your eyes and you can kind of picture everything that's going on. They don't just do voices; they do sound effects and all these other things. So you can see how that works. There's some original plays that are happening on stage for this. Some Black women have written some original plays. Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick on the radio drama, wasn't like War of the Worlds or something? Wasn't there one that was like so dramatic, so like people thought it was real, like people thought it was like a real attack on the radio?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's Orson. That's how Orson Welles got his fame and fortune. He started. He was on the radio and put this War of the Worlds on, and everybody got fooled thinking we were really getting attacked by aliens. Yeah, it was a big deal. So, and that was the heyday of that stuff. Actors, Foley artists, sound effects, all kinds of stuff, man, and they were really playing it up. It's like being on. It's like having a play without the visuals. So
right.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. But this is a Black woman the two Black women who wrote two plays for this, and there's a Black woman who's directing this as well. And so Black Women Rebel is going to be really cool. It's actually a few days. You got some days between March 30th and April 2nd. You can go check it out. Go to bensontheater.org and order a ticket for the day that you want to go check it out. But I definitely think you should see this. It's something that's going to be very interesting. Of course, I'm there and seeing the back end of everything, so I'm seeing how interesting some of this stuff is. This is definitely worth supporting right here. So check out Black Women Rebel, bensontheater.org. Get your tickets. And I really wanted to just stress, support Black women doing things. That's what's up.
No, that's dope. Kind of got my mind thinking, like with new technology and spatial audio, you can kind of throw sound behind people, and there's certain audio experiences. That'd be crazy to bring that kind of platform back.
There you go. All right, man. Lots out here. We really appreciate everybody. I'm not going to go back and read everything in the chat. It's already 9:02. But thank you very much for everybody who's joined into the chat. You can go back and definitely check the chat out. Miss Erica Felt, little update on her. She says, I've been sleeping a lot lately, but I'm glad I woke up to catch the show. Love learning and appreciating the show and the senators for facilitating learning opportunities here. Please be good to yourselves, drink water, and have a safe weekend, everyone. Thank you, Miss Erica Felt. Let us know how it is that you're doing, going through the journey and the process that you are and where you're at there. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate you very much. And, just appreciate all of the regular chat chimers. Thank you. Buddy, you got some words for the people?
Man, big shout out to the senators, as always, taking time out of their busy schedule. And it's nice to know that we can help them decompress, because they have quite the job. I'll just say that, man. And it doesn't pay that well either. So definitely big shout out to them. We appreciate them. We love them. And all the same, we love and appreciate all of you chat chimers for joining this show. And as I always say, embarking on this experience with us. As Paul says, it's good to live along or to live alive with each other. So definitely appreciate y'all for joining us in this live experience. Of course, you can always go back and watch us on YouTube and Facebook, and if you missed something, please do so. But to experience it live is something special. So we appreciate you, we love you, we thank you all the same. And until next time, take care of yourselves this weekend. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B,
yo,
take it away.
Right on. Pop says another great week, bringing us even closer to season 6. That's crazy. Have a phenomenal weekend, and as always, mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Mama God says love you, First Sky fan. Appreciate you, Mama God. Miss Erica Felt says my last radiation treatment is next Friday on my birthday. Then I'm done.
Hey,
have to have a little celebration. Somebody bring a couch I can put my shoes on. Marianne Williams says, have a great weekend. All thanks for the great discussion and comic relief, too. Thank you very much for everything that you have been contributing over on Friends of First Sky and for your comments as well. You're definitely a friend of First Sky Omaha, and we couldn't do it without all of you guys. So appreciate that very, very, very much. Shout out to everybody that's on today. Again, if you missed any parts of this show, you can reach back to Facebook and YouTube and check it out in its entirety. And when you do, definitely check out the chat. Lots going on in the chat today. Really appreciate everybody who's contributed and a lot of good information there as well. So thank you very much. We're going to give a shout out to the Omaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. We're going to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And we're going to give a shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Really appreciate everybody who is a part of this. Also, thanks to the supporters, the $20, the $10, and the $25 and $50 people that have been contributing regularly every month to us trying to continue this effort and to build it up. We can't do it without you, so thank you so much. You can go to firstskyOmaha.com, hit the donate button if you feel so inclined. We really appreciate that very much. And with that said, we're going to get out of here. But before we do, and I know I'm running late. But before we do, I want to play a little bit of a clip that I was meant to play when I talked about Black Women Rebel, so that you can kind of see a little bit about what's going on. You guys might recognize the person that is one of the playwrights here. Every time I play this, they're like, "Oh, that's so-and-so." So everybody, I guess she's pretty popular around town. I just met her, but check this out real quick, just so you guys can get.
I am a playwright and part of this collaboration. My play is called Alexa, Cortana, and Siri Walk into a Juke Joint. I'm just a technological geek at heart. I love technology. I love new nuances and inventions and innovations in technology. And so when I grew up listening to the wisdom of the women in my family that surrounded me, it just kind of hit me that the only way we could have artificial intelligence that is doing the things that it's doing is that maybe behind this artificial intelligence are some well-seasoned African-American women who are all-knowing, all-seeing, and they are dispensing their wisdom to the world. Audiences can expect several things. I think the wisdom of women. They can expect the camaraderie of women. They can expect the ways in which women support each other, especially in times of either confusion or when we are really trying to assert ourselves in life. Audiences can also expect a throwback to Omaha. Because I'm an Omaha playwright, I really try to infuse the plays that I write with some sort of seasoning from Omaha history. And so they will find that in the play. And I think they will find it in the play in a way that makes them nostalgic for the history of the city and to think about, what that history of the city means. I'm very honored that this piece is being performed in the Benson Theater. This is a historic place. And I feel like my piece is part of the resurgence of the Benson Theater, the reemergence of the Benson Theater and how it serves the public and all of the possibilities that can be made just right here.
Forgot how long that was. Sorry about that.
Looks good though. Looks good. That was a nice commercial.
Yeah, and get ready for a lot more of those things to come. We're definitely moving into the space where we can share some of the things that's going on around town commercially. That's the way that we'll be able to take care of some of the bills that we are accumulating here for this show. So we'll definitely have that, but we'll put it within the show so that we can keep within the time from now on. So again, I apologize for the length of that, but definitely check that out. Celebrate Black women, celebrate the wisdom of Black women. You know that we do that around here at First Sky Omaha. So thanks for bearing with us through that, and we'll let you go on about your day. You guys have a good one.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means necessary.